the square. Some cells to the north and west of us, some cells to the south and east of us, with better chances later tonight. We'll use Future Track to show you those lines of storms that we expect tonight and then again on Thursday.
And the show must go on here, and people gathered to watch are excited. I'm Arman Rahman, and I talked to audience members who were not fazed by the threat of inclement weather.
And Camp Randall is transformed. A look behind the scenes at preps for this weekend's Morgan Wallen concert. You're watching News 3 Now at 5, and we are bringing you team coverage from Concerts on the Square in downtown Madison.
That's right. Alex is giving an update on what to expect for weather tonight.
And Armand, as you heard, is talking with guests with their blankets out on the Capitol lawn.
That's right. We have Brady and Susan joining us later on with the music director, Maestro Andrew Siebel of the Wisconsin Chamber Orchestra will be joining us. But we start with a look at your first warned weather forecast. Alex Harrington is live in downtown Madison at this year's first Concerts on the Square event. And there's a chance, and there has been, of some showers through the afternoon. How's that looking tonight?
Yes, we do have a few showers out there right now in Dane County that just pushed through the downtown area, just a couple of raindrops. Those showers are a little bit heavier to the north and west of Madison and the south and east of Madison. We're expecting a couple showers, maybe an isolated thunderstorm right up to about the concert start time, then a brief narrow window of opportunity for a break, and then more thunderstorms are expected as we head later into the overnight period, and a good chance of thunderstorms Thursday afternoon. Here's Dane County's radar right now. Area thunderstorms up near the Cross Plains area. Area thunderstorms also down towards the Stoughton and Oregon area. Has the attention of the First Warned Weather Team and the National Weather Service, keeping a close eye on these cells. We got Blaze live in the studio in case one or two of these cells were to become severe. And my advice would be, folks, if you are planning to get into the car to head to Concerts on the Square, give it another 30 minutes or so. Let these cells pass to the north and east out of the Dane County area. And then we'll have that window of opportunity of dry time before better chances for storms as we head towards the 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock hour. And I think, Armand, you're out there somewhere too. Armand, where are you at and what's going on?
Nobody knows what we're doing. Yeah, you can start again.
Well, you know what, Alex? You can't be breaking my concentration right now because I'm getting my butt kicked by the queens of cribbage gathered here to watch Concerts on the Square tonight. Some people have their books, some people have their laptops out in their blankets. These ladies have had their table set up here since what time did you guys get here?
Just after 3 o'clock. So we usually get here before 3, but we're running a little late. We were worried about the rain coming. It didn't come, so we headed on down. We love to be here early and people watch and play cribbage. It's just fun. It's a great experience every Wednesday through the summer.
Every Wednesday. Tell me, really quickly, what is besides cribbage, what is the key things you got to bring to Concerts on the Square every Wednesday?
Okay, you got to bring something good to drink. You got to bring cheese and crackers of some sort. Then a meal. So we have just some turkey and cheese and kind of stuff to go with that today. And some kind of dessert, or walk on over and get ice cream. So we always have food too, so that's what's a big part of it, bringing something every time a little bit different. So
that's right. Every time will be different. Tonight's show will be different. It'll be Motown dancing in the street. I know that. And Maestro Andrew Sewell will be talking to Susan and Brady here in just a little bit. For now, I'm going to get back to the game. I don't want to show my hand here because I gotta do some catch up. For now, I'll send it back to you guys in the studio.
All right, good luck there, Armand. We'll see you a little bit later. Now we have some breaking news out of Green Lake. Police say that a child has died after being hit by a vehicle.
Now, in a post from the Green Lake Police Department, they say the child was riding their bike along a sidewalk when apparently the driver of a vehicle was trying to park on Hill Street. Again, this is in Green Lake. The vehicle then went over the curb, striking the child.
And that person was taken to a nearby hospital but later died from their injuries.
And we are bringing you continuing coverage at 5 of the Rock County Medical Examiner releasing the name of the 4th person killed in a shooting that happened last Tuesday.
She is identified as 21-year-old Haley Lounsbury of Janesville. She, along with 3 others, were killed in a shooting at an apartment complex on North Pontiac Drive in Janesville. Lounsbury was pronounced dead at a local hospital on Monday. The cause and manner of death are pending.
Iowa County's emergency management says tornado sirens were activated yesterday out of caution after funnel cloud sightings in Rui. The pictures you're looking at now were sent by Jackie Cagill near the town of Cobb. That's about 20 minutes minutes from Rui, about 15 minutes west of Dodgeville. Emergency management officials say there was no threat to the community, and Alex talked about this yesterday. This is what the National Weather Service calls a cold air funnel.
And now a live look at Lake Mendota, where public health officials in Madison and Dane County have shut down several beaches due to elevated bacteria levels and blue-green algae. Beaches closed for elevated bacteria on Lake Mendota are Spring Harbor, James Madison, Marshall, and Willows. On Lake Monona, Esther and Bernie's beaches are closed, also due to those raised bacteria levels. For blue-green algae, Warner and Tong Marina T Dock are also closed. Public health officials say they will continue to monitor these beaches and let the public know when they're open and safe.
Continuing coverage now of a story we've been following out of Fitchburg. In a 4-3 vote, Monkey Shine's Bar and Grill will have its license renewed, but with several changes going forward. Now, this liquor license renewal debate followed several years of frequent police calls to the site and also a homicide that happened there last month. The owner of Monkey Shine's presented several changes the bar would make, including a complete name change and rebrand, establishing a more family-friendly environment and changing its closing time from 1:30 in the morning to 11 at night. The location will be closed next month to make those changes.
And to more local news, Camp Randall Stadium is set to play host to its first pair of concerts in many years, welcoming country artist Morgan Wallen.
That's right. It's been a while. Our Kyle Pozorski shares the sights and sounds from today's load-in.
Your eyes are not deceiving you. That is, in fact, a Morgan Wallen trailer parked outside of Camp Randall Stadium. It's actually one of 3 here in anticipation of this weekend's big concert, the first to happen at this venue in more than 20 years.
There are a whole bunch of people running around here making sure that Saturday and Sunday's concerts are going to be great.
The last time a concert took place at Camp Randall was in 1997, at that time playing host to the Rolling Stones. Now, 28 years later, trailers emblazoned with the image of Morgan Wallen have marked the return of live music. Patrick Herb of UW Athletics says the load-in process began earlier this week.
They first laid a subfloor over the turf to kind of protect the turf from a football sense. And then now they've been building an infrastructure of the stage and all the lighting and the rigs that go on.
He shares that bringing the Grammy-nominated artist to town is a big deal for UW and the city at large.
These tours have often skipped our community, so to be able to bring Morgan Wallen, Coldplay next month, into Madison is great for everybody.
UW-Madison police expect road congestion similar to that of a Badger football game. Additionally, road closures are planned in the area during the course of the weekend. Mark Lovicott of UW-Madison Police says officers will be stationed in the area to help residents and businesses impacted by those closures.
We'll have staff accommodating that to make sure they get where they need to go. We're ready for it, and we're excited to bring back live music to Camp Randall Stadium. It's been a real long time.
The first of the 2 concerts will take place Saturday, followed by the second on Sunday. At Camp Randall Stadium, Kyle Pozorski, News 3 Now.
Thank you, Kyle. And to find details on road closures around Camp Randall, we have a map up on channel3000.com.
And as that concert brings people to the area, business owners are also preparing for the amount of potential customers it'll bring with it. Business owners along Monroe Street and around Camp Randall say it's an opportunity to introduce a large number of people to what they have to offer.
Some people will stop in and many people won't, but they will be exposed to Monroe Street and will see what we have here. And we will have a lot of people that will come back after that, either days later or the next day or even months later and say, oh yeah, I saw your store. And we didn't get a chance to stop, so we've come back now.
And Jeanette says they'll be at the store all day on Saturday and invite everyone to stop in.
Well, just ahead, a look at a special event tomorrow, looking back a decade later at a legendary Badger basketball team. Plus, a look at some home sales statistics across the nation for the month of May, how interest rates continue to impact those numbers.
Some mixed results today on Wall Street. The Dow Jones Industrial Average loses more than 106.5 points. The NASDAQ, though, adds 61. The S&P 500 essentially flat. We'll be right back.
You're watching News 3 Now at 5.
Welcome back, everyone. We have live team coverage of this year's first Concerts on the Square event.
Well, we're heading back to the Capitol to Susan and Brady. They're sitting down with the Wisconsin Chamber Orchestra Music Director Andrew Sewell, the maestro, to talk about what Concerts on the Square means for the community. Susan, Brady?
Yeah, don't be jealous of our sweet setup here. We are in the thick of it here in Concerts on the Square, thick being the word here with the humidity.
Yes, but the concert is on tonight. Music director, as you mentioned, Maestro Andrew Sewell is with us. We made it, Andrew. It's happening.
We're here, yay!
And it might be a little modified tonight because of the weather.
Yes. In fact, we always plan for a shortened program should we get to the day and it's mostly good and then might be a chance. So we will probably cut out a couple of songs and make it a little shorter. We won't have any intermission. We'll get people in and out by 8 o'clock. So that's the plan, at least for tonight. And I think it's a great plan. It keeps everybody safe. Doesn't affect the instruments because once the raindrops start, we have to stop. So
Your first concert, that happened. The
yes,
heavens
indeed.
opened up on you.
Many moons ago, I can hardly. How do you remember?
I've been here a long time.
Yeah, that one was one of those situations where they really wanted to get the concert no matter rain, shine or whatever, and we did 2 songs and that was it. We had to stop. But no, it's not always quite like that.
This show is going to be very exciting tonight. What gets you going? What about this show just inspires you to perform and help bring this music out to everyone?
That's a great question. Well, this group, Radiance, come from Las Vegas. Their lead singer was a former rockhead, Marquette, and she has a great singing voice. Mirage, Erica and Wendy, they're a great quartet. I saw them in Vegas last September. I said, we got to get them. So they are part of the other group, Spectrum, which was a Motown group that was here 3 years ago. So we're really excited to kick it off with such energy, and that's really important because energy is what we're talking about here on the square. Look around, the community comes in, and we're so thankful to be a part of that.
How do you come up with the list of music for the Concerts on the Square? Do you take suggestions from the community?
Well, in some ways we have an artistic committee from the musicians as well, but yes, I hear things. My daughter in New Zealand tells me stuff. No, I'm just teasing. We get some great artists, and we try to mix it up. We try to always also feature local artists as much as we can and regional artists. So I'm already got the next year in my head and the year after. So it's a long range planning situation, but this is particularly good. We're doing 2 pop shows this summer. We've got Pink Floyd coming in on the 5th concert. The rest are mainly classical and some patriotic music, but something for everybody.
Well, before we wrap up, I want to know, people come out here, it's hot, it could be raining, it could be cold. It's not always comfortable, but you set the tone. You're up there and you have that energy. Where does that come from?
Just the music does it. The show goes on, and we're excited. The musicians are excited, and we've got a really supportive and loving audience out there. We want to please them too. So
yeah, it's going to be great tonight. People are on their blankets. They are ready to go.
They sure are.
Enjoy it, Andrew.
All right.
First of 6.
Okay.
Best time of the year in Madison.
Thank you. Thanks for having us on.
Great to
thank
see
you.
And of course, our weather is a big story. It is hot and muggy out, and Alex is tracking some rain potential. Let's chat with him now in our first warn forecast. Alex, what's going on?
Brady, yes, tracking a couple of showers right now in Dane County. They have our attention because there has been some reports of some rotation with these showers, but nothing that's reaching to the ground. My advice to you is if you're going to come downtown and get on the road for Concerts on the Square and you live in Dane County, just give it 30 minutes. Just give it 30 minutes. These cells will be out of Dane County. Blaze is in the studio just in case 1 or 2 of these storms, or showers, I should say, get on the strong side or severe side. We're not expecting widespread severe weather for at least until the later evening hours. That's why we have this narrow window of opportunity to get in Concerts on the Square, abbreviated version. But as was just mentioned, there's those 2 cells right now, one to the northwest of downtown, the other to the southeast of downtown, rest of Dane County and the rest of southern Wisconsin. A couple showers out towards Lone Rock, but what we're watching are storms out over southern Minnesota and northern Iowa. Those are the storms that have our attention, that will have the potential being more widespread as we head towards 9, 10, 11 o'clock, that will be rolling through the Madison area. So we do have just that narrow window of opportunity to get in this great concert tonight. So scattered storms tonight, line of storms tomorrow. So as we were talking about, sometimes we try a Thursday for Concerts on the Square. Tomorrow it's just an absolute no-go. That line's going to come through during the evening hours. Again, we can't rule out some strong storms and of course flooding rains as well. tornado watch to the north and west of the Richland Center area. We also have a flood watch for areas that have had the most concentrated amounts of water these past couple of days. And that flood watch means business. Again, turn around, don't drown. If you see any roadways with water over them, you do not want to cross those roads. And again, that tornado watch again in effect until 10 p.m. north and west of Madison, and that flood watch that we're keeping an eye on as we track those storms moving through the area. Here we are, 9 o'clock at night, north and west of Madison, but areas north and west of Madison stand the best chance of getting these thunderstorms with a threat for some severe weather and heavy rainfall. Moving through, by the time we get to midnight, that line presses off towards the south and towards the east. And as we move into Thursday, much of the day is dry, but watch what happens in the afternoon. Here is that for sure line of storms, gusty winds out ahead of that line of storms, heavy rainfall. That's why a postponement to Thursday would be an absolute no-go for concerts on the square. Threats, flooding, rains, gusty winds, can't rule out a tornado. Again, that risk best north and west of Madison and getting towards the Madison area as we head towards the later evening hours. And that's why we said we're going to try to get folks out of here by 8 o'clock to get people home and safe before that line moves in. Next chance of showers and thunderstorms rolls in as we head towards Sunday, going on into the Monday time frame. And the muggy meter staying muggy tonight. We feel it out here right now. Cooling down a little bit as we head towards the Friday time frame, and then right back up as we head into the weekend out ahead of another front that brings our rain chances, as I mentioned, as we go into Sunday afternoon and Sunday evening. And again, concerts on the square. Show starts at 7 o'clock tonight. We're dodging a couple showers that I can see here to my right, and I can see over here to my left. Downtown's okay, but again, if you're in Dane County, I would just stay put right now for driving. Let these cells push off towards the north and towards the east at this point in time.
All right, let's hope we can get it in, Alex, because tomorrow, as he said, it's going to be a mess.
Yep.
And we have another big event going on tomorrow. So, Alex, thank you. And that event tomorrow is at the Orpheum Theater. Relive one of the greatest runs in Badger sports history with the Made 'em Believe 2015 Wisconsin basketball reunion for the first time in a decade. Badger basketball icons Frank Kaminsky, Bo Ryan, Josh Gasser, and Sam Decker are reuniting to reflect on their journey to the 2015 NCAA championship game. ESPN Wisconsin host, former Badger teammate himself, Ben Brust, will moderate that event. You can get tickets at the Orpheum Theater website.
Coming up ahead at 5, the U.S. and Iran try to schedule talks in the wake of last weekend's bombings of Iran nuclear sites. This as the extent of the damage from those strikes is still being evaluated. That's next.
You're watching News 3 Now at 5.
Welcome back. The month of May, it turns out, saw a decline in new home sales across the country. On Wednesday, the Census Bureau reported 623,000 home sales last month. That is a significant dip from both April's total and what economists had estimated. High prices and mortgage rates close to 7% continue to price some would-be home buyers out of the market. Well, President Trump said today that U.S. officials will be talking with their Iranian counterparts next week in the wake of the U.S. strikes on Iran's nuclear sites.
But questions remain about the extent of the damage to the nuclear program in Iran. Erica Brown now with the latest from Washington.
Tremendous things have been accomplished.
President Trump says the U.S. will meet with Iran next week as the fragile ceasefire between Israel and Iran holds for now.
We may sign an agreement. I don't know. To me, I don't think it's that necessary. I mean, they had a war, they fought. Now they're going back to their world. I don't care if I have an agreement or not.
Speaking to reporters at the NATO summit in the Netherlands, the president once again insisted that Iran's nuclear sites were destroyed.
We blew it up. It's blown up. To kingdom come.
But questions remain about how much damage the U.S. missile strikes did. An early leaked classified assessment from the Defense Intelligence Agency found the strikes may have only set back Iran's nuclear program by a few months, while an Israeli assessment found the strikes took years of Iran's nuclear capabilities. Here on Capitol Hill, senators are hoping to get more details about those U.S. strikes on Iran at a classified briefing set for Thursday.
What is the state of those facilities? What is the timeline in which Iran could try to break out and build a bomb? We have a lot of serious questions that demand serious answers, not the kind of inconsistent political spin that we've been hearing.
At the NATO summit, all but 2 member nations agreed to dramatically increase defense spending to 5% of their GDP, something President Trump had been pushing for.
I want to state here, without President Trump, this would not have happened.
The president also met with Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky behind closed doors. Afterward, President Trump, who has been critical of Zelensky in the past, said the Ukrainian leader is fighting a brave battle against Russia. Erica Brown, CBS News, Capitol Hill.
Now, when asked whether the U.S. will contribute more money to Ukraine's defense this year, President Trump left the door open, saying, quote, "We'll see what happens," and then said that Russian President Vladimir Putin, quote, "really has to end that war." We're back with a final check of your first warn forecast when we come back.
Our colleague Imtiaz Tayeb takes us into Iran. How has the war with Israel changed the country, and what comes next?
Also, how and when children are vaccinated is a question being considered by this panel in Washington. What they decide could shape decisions made by parents for years to come. That's tonight on the CBS Evening News.
And coming up at 6, we'll tell you about the loophole that led to a change in Dane County government contracts. Ellie LaLiberte talks with county leaders about all of those details.
Well, we need to get a final check of the forecast with Alex Harrington. I kind of feel like, when the pilot kind of flies between the clouds, between a storm, when you got storms on either side of it. That's kind of what we're doing right now, Alex, with Concerts on the Square.
That's absolutely correct. We have a sell-off to the north and to the west, and a cell that I can see here off towards the south and east of the Stoughton area. We're keeping a very close eye on these cells. They're isolated cells, but they have had some history of rotation. No confirmed tornadoes have touched the ground, no tornado warnings at this point in time. But I want to let you know that if you're in Dane County, let these cells pass for 30 minutes. Go off towards the north, towards the east if you plan on heading towards downtown. I don't want you out driving right now with these 2 cells out here. Again, that one cell heading towards the Fort Atkinson area and that other cell up towards the Wanakee area. Expecting dry time and then more storms later tonight. Back to you in the studio.
Thank you, Alex. The CBS Evening News is up next, and we'll be back in 30 minutes for News 3 Now at 6.
You can always find us streaming 24/7 at Channel 3000+.